Okay, Harry, you've just come off the back of third place at an Ironman 7.3 in Belgium, aren't you?
Yeah, correct.
Is this a breakthrough for you? Were you expecting it, or is this just like a little stepping stone?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It is a little bit of a breakthrough with regards to a result. I don't think I've suddenly got, any fitter or any better. It's just been a bit of like a long time coming, and it's one of those things that you can train so well, but it always comes down to race day, and I think I've always been better at training than racing, and now I'm just learning how to race effectively, and it takes time to learn that in the pro field. And so this was a break race with regards to like race going the race. So if things went my way, then I would have a good result, and they did.
I was particularly impressed by your run because you've been struggling with an injury for a while, haven't you? And I noticed through your Strava earlier, and as a result of that, you haven't been doing a great deal of running. In the last few weeks, you did pick it up. Where did that run come from? How do you explain that?
Yeah, good question. I've probably come down to feeling pretty good off of an altitude with Chevalier and Freddie Webb. So that was definitely good. I think my body responded. I've never done altitude before, and I think my body responded really well to it. And I felt really good coming down from the altitude. And I've always been a fairly natural runner. And I think it just goes to show, like, I don't necessarily need crazy run volume to run well. And I just stuck to a decent pace. So I just felt in a really good rhythm. And so similar to what I said about the race results, I knew that if the stars aligned, then, I would have a decent result. And it was a little bit of a question mark. I did think I was going to fade, but yeah, it's just one of those days where it just kind of, managed to keep it together until the finish line.
Good stuff. Now, we talk about YouTube quite a lot, don't we? And unfortunately, great performances aren't rewarded by views on YouTube, are they? DNFs and bad days at the office are. But I thought that race day video you put out, and I know you're going to take credit for James's work, but I think that was the best one you've done to date. Do you want to perhaps talk a little bit about what your plan has been with race day videos this year, what work you've put into them, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're bang on with that. It's one of those things that when things go well, you're like, yeah, this video did really well. And actually, people prefer to see stuff not go so well, which is hilarious. But yeah, the race day videos are always something that I think everyone's interested in. Everyone does triathlon generally to go to some sort of race. So when they see race day videos, I think people love it. It gets them hyped up, gets them inspired and motivated. And that's part of the reason for, I would say, maybe both of us doing our own channels. And so that's why I really enjoy the race day stuff. And yeah, when I got James involved to help out with some content, it was obviously documenting the training, but I loved taking it into the race just to get some really great content. In Belgium, we managed to get him a media pass, so that helps out a lot, just getting in behind the scenes in different places that people normally wouldn't be able to get to with cameras. So I think that helped out a lot. And then I think James also, like, he's just learning how to shoot the sport and how to get really good content. And he's getting better and better every single time. And it's really nice to see and watch him develop as I develop as well. And I think seems to be going really well. And hopefully we can continue to produce some really high quality content and results at the same time.
How much leading up to a race and during a race are you thinking about the video? Are you focused purely on performance, or is it in your mind? Is it additional stress? How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, so I think I always used to stress a little bit more about the content side of things, whereas now I try to focus a little bit more on the racing, because it is, and I believe. But I would say, like, we always have an idea of what we want to do every single month, and leading up to race day, we'll always have a chat about what kind of shots we want to get, what kind of footage we want to do, and yeah, so we always have an idea, but I think because the sport is developing so quickly, I really kind of need to focus a lot on the racing, because it's just fierce, it's fast at the minute, and can't really take your eye off the ball.
Yeah. How to phrase this? How important is social media to you as an athlete, trying to either get partners on board or trying to progress as a professional? And how important is the performance? Like, is it an 80-20 split? Is it 50-50? What's the weighting?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't exactly know the specific answer to that, but I would say for me personally, I think it's really important. I think actually, for everyone racing now, it's like it needs to be part of your job. If you're a professional athlete and you aren't on social media, you are missing out. To sponsors them or to get people to recognise you. You never know who you meet. It's an opportunity to, getting sponsorship and getting money from people or getting products from people. That's not what it's all about, but it does obviously help. And the other side of the thing is, for me, as a coach as well, social media is very helpful. As soon as I get a decent result, whether this is, reflective of me, suddenly people seem to get interested and think, oh yeah, I'll contact about coaching. So that side of things as well. So it's kind of it get the ball rolling in all aspects of my life, which is obviously really helpful. It's like kind of all encompassing.
I noticed a while ago the PTO put up an Instagram post, and they were almost comparing Sam Long and Lionel Sanders head to head, and they had all their race results on and their rankings and stuff. But they also put on their YouTube and Instagram followers, and there was loads of comments. Some people disagreeing with it, some people thinking it was great, and I just thought it was interesting how the PTO are recognising things like that. So, and I was listening to a podcast earlier all about a gravel racing series in America, and you have to be ranked. You have to be ranked in the top 35 in America to get picked for this series, and they take into account social media. So, incredible.
I think that's a bit, maybe it shouldn't be taken into account that seriously. I don't know. But it's definitely something to think about. It's definitely something that people, I know so many people that hate social media and they don't want to be on social media, and I respect them for that.
Yeah.
I don't think social media is it's not the be all and end all. Sometimes it's actually quite I think we both experienced parts of social media that are quite dark and quite then it's not exactly the nicest people around, but also it does bring a lot of benefits as well. And I think you need to think about those benefits rather than the negatives, and especially in a sport where there's not a crazy amount of to try and promote it as much as you can.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, on to a few more training and racing related questions. I had a question earlier today, and we had half joked about this when I told you couldn't have a fan on because of the audio. I said, well, you should be heat prepping for Israel anyway. I had a question earlier from somebody wanting to know, are you doing any heat prep for Israel? It's not that hot in the UK at the minute. What are you doing to prepare for that?
Every day is heat prep for me. I'm ginger, even at the minute in the UK. So yeah, I mean, I'm not doing anything crazy specific, but I will be doing regular sauna sessions. So I'm quite lucky to be able to go and train at David Lloyd's, which is quite a bougie place to train, and I'll make sure I hit the sauna up every day for 15 to 20 minutes. Get on, check out the evening mummies, and Israel will be mega hot. I think it will probably be 25, 26 degrees, which is manageable. I think anything over 27, 28, maybe I'd need to start worrying, but I'm not too concerned. But if on race day it's 30 degrees, then yeah, might be a little bit worried.
Fair enough. Now, this question is, what do you consider to be your best bike-related bodge or hack? And you can't say that stupid little tape thing you use for numbers on your seat post, because I refuse to do it because you recommended it.
I'd say, I mean, for years I just had my bottle between my aero bars just zip tied to the bars. I think, like, I mean, it's a bit of a bodge, but it's lightweight and it is really secure, and it actually just fits really well. So I mean, it looks really pathetic, but I always thought, yeah, it's more of a hack than a bodge, really. I think it's quite good, but I think that's probably the only thing I've really bodged. I can't really think of anything else.
Yeah. You can't afford to bodge stuff, can you, racing in the pro ranks?
No, exactly.
Alan has asked. Now, firstly, I'd just like to make it clear that I don't like Alan. Alan was in a rival relay team at the Outlaw Full this year, and he did ride about 10 minutes faster than me. And to make it that bit worse, he's a really nice guy, so it makes it even more frustrating. But anyway, Alan has asked.
We'll hate Al.
What do you think it's going to take for you to get to the next level, like to consistently podium at big races? What do you think is the key to getting to that next level?
Oof, yeah, good question. That is a good question. I mean, I think it just all comes down to consistency. I think it's just always like there's so many guys that I see do really well in the sport you see them when they're young and they're doing well in the sport from like 18 to 22 or something, or 25. And then they just phase out and they just stop enjoying it. So I think keeping the enjoyment high, keeping good variety, and just keeping that good consistency, keeping the right people around you, that's really important. So I've got some big plans this winter to make sure that I'm around the right people, going to the right places for training camps, stuff like that. I think it's really, really important. Like, it can be quite a lonely sport, so having the right support network is really important. And just being patient, really. I'm not too stressed about, I never put too many kind of goals in my head. I'm always just like, I'll work really hard now. I'll do as much as I can. I'll get to where I get to. So I think with that in mind, I've got quite a longevity, biding my time. There's so many guys that I know that, I mean, I'll just give a shout out to someone like, Andy Horsfall-Turner, great athlete, really good at training. And I don't think his race results represent where he's at in training. And I think I'd probably put myself in that same ballpark, but it's only a matter of time. You just need to keep showing up. You just need to keep putting in the work, and eventually it will happen. So that's kind of what I'm banking on. And yeah, as long as I keep doing that and keep enjoying it, then I'm sure the results will keep going.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're going to hear from Andy in the next couple of weeks, but I always feel like the way that he races, he's just going to break through with one massive result. I don't think he's going to be 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, work his way up. I think he'll just all of a sudden just win some big race, and then it'll change his life. But
absolutely.
So that does lead us on to winter training, actually. What's your plan for this winter? So are you staying in the UK, or are you doing a couple of training camps? How are you going to make sure this winter's the best winter you can have?
Yeah, actually, really interesting, because I'm changing this winter. This winter's going to be different to any other winter that I've done. In the past, it's been always a bit of a financial struggle. You want to go away on camps, ends up being expensive, and then don't end up doing it. But training in the UK, as we all know, is fairly miserable, and you want to be getting good miles in. So there's a good group of us going away to Calpe for 2 and a bit weeks before Christmas. So we're getting in a camp. I've never done it before Christmas, which would be really nice, just for some base miles, base training, bit of wind. And then I'll also do similar to what I did this year, a few weeks in Rossi in January. I'm lucky, so actually they've offered me a week's stay in exchange for some content, which is really cool. So I'm hoping to essentially butter them up a little bit, and then hopefully I'll be able to stay for a bit longer next year for a pre-season camp. And I think those 2 camps will just really help mentally as much as physically. Really, it's always nice to get away, get off the turbo, and like I said, surround yourself with good athletes as well. So that's the goal this winter.
Have you got a group planned in then, or are you just going to go with a couple of people? What's the plan there?
Yeah, so the group I'm going with to Calpe is Brett Halliwell, who's one of my training partners in Bristol, who's just a great training partner. Got Will Crudge, who I believe his time from Roth this year was the fastest UK Ironman debut. Absolute weapon of an athlete. Doesn't need to train, and he'll just show up and win everything. So he's irritating, but he's very good value to have around. And then we've got a few other athletes as well. I think there's like 4 or 5 of us. I'll do something similar in January, and then I'd love to go to the Alps again with Leon Chevalier. Get some training done with him, maybe for 2 weeks. I think that was just epic, because I got to see what it's like to be one of the best athletes in the world. It was super inspiring to see him train, but also really quite scary, because you can see like the amount that you have behind you want to get to that point. Yeah, it was amazing to be with, training with one of the best guys in the world. Was so cool, and so I'd love to do that again as well.
What I got from your videos with Leon was, he's just a normal bloke, isn't he? He's just a guy.
He's just a great guy. He's funny, he's chilled, he doesn't stress too much about anything. I think that's why he does so well, is, he's obviously got a lot of natural talent, don't get me wrong, but he works his arse off, and he's just relaxed about things. He just enjoys everything he does, and I think it comes back to that, if you enjoy it, you're just going to be better. If you have to really stress to get yourself on the bike or out on the run or whatever, then it's only a matter of time before you give up. Whereas Leon, I just don't see him giving up. It's just not an option for him, and that's why he's one of the best in the world. He just absolutely loves what he does.
You've got to be relentless, haven't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to be just a different level of mindset, I think.
Yeah. So you did Wales last year, but unfortunately didn't finish. You've done 70.3s this year. Now, I'm not saying that to take the mickey, because it's tough, isn't it? And you were in a very good position, and you weren't well. I knew that before the start. You said you weren't very well.
Lots of visits to the portal.
Yeah. You've had a great 70.3 in middle distance campaign this year. You're going to finish off the year with what sounds like 1, maybe 2 falls. I'm not sure what your last update was.
I think it's just 1.
What does your year look like next year? Do you know yet, or are you going to see how the fall goes? And what are we going to see from you race-wise next year? Do you know?
Yes. So, I'm definitely going to do the chance. I've already qualified for. I thought it was really good. So I'd love to, go a little bit better next year. I think it's a course that suits me. It's pretty flat. It's pretty fast. And I think being a slightly heavier guy, it does go play to my strengths. I definitely want to go to New Zealand for the World Champs. That's going to be expensive, so we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, which you've qualified for, haven't you?
And also, sorry?
Which you've qualified for already?
Yeah. So that would be really good. So yeah, just need to figure out logistics. Again, I don't think that course will suit me that well. I've heard it's quite hilly, and it's obviously going to be their summer, so it might be quite bloody hot as well. But we'll see. So obviously it's a World Champ, so it'd be stupid to miss out on it. And then I'd love to do a little bit more full racing. So maybe I'd do an early season full, then do a few 70.3s, then do another full, and then that will lead nicely into the 70.3 World Champs, which is going to be in December. So it's going to be quite a long season, I think.
Good stuff. Thanks for that, Chris. Question from Grant Johnson, who is a great triathlete, by the way, and especially gifted runner. He's asking, how important is the swim in the pro races now? It seems like a lot of time and effort is needed to improve seconds and minutes. Does it make or break a race?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the swim, I would say 70.3, not quite Ironman racing yet. I would say 7.3 racing is up to you right now. It's the swim is so important. Back in the day, you used to have Lionel Sanders or Sebastian Kienle. They would come out of the swim and they'd be able to ride up to the groups absolutely fine, because they were Uber bikers. Everyone's so good now. Everyone's so strong. If you come out of the swim, even 90 seconds back, you're probably not going to catch that front group if they're working well together. And then you've got to be a pretty bloody good runner as well. So it's really important to set yourself up well for the swim. You've seen it in recent years. Lionel Sanders just hasn't really been able to perform as well as he used to, purely because his swim is just not as good as other people. And if you've got a good swim, you're automatically in a good position. You don't need to overbike unless you're Andy Horsfall-Turner and you love overbiking. And then yeah, you're in the race automatically. So I think the swim is super, super important.
Fair enough. After you've raced, Jonathan Evans, another good athlete, he's asking, how much do you ache after a tough race? So, speaking from the experience of being an amateur age grouper, some days I'll do a race and I can't walk for 2 or 3 days. Do you get that same thing, or is it because you're more highly trained, you recover faster?
No, absolutely. I get the same thing. Yeah, it's always the same. I think it's sometimes for small, sometimes athletes, you know why that is. Probably down different courses, different conditions, all of those types of things. But yeah, I mean, it's always a good few days. To be honest, I never find myself feeling good really until the kind of Thursday, Friday after the race. It always takes a few days. So I don't think you need to worry too much about that. I think it's quite normal.
Okay. Do pros still get a t-shirt and a medal at the end of an Ironman race?
We do. I always give them to my mum, so she's got loads of them bloody hanging up somewhere.
Brilliant. Kev's asking, how are you finding the run slower to run faster training? Is that something you're doing, or are you finding it's working?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this goes back, I know I've mentioned his name quite a lot, but Leon, he literally runs his easy runs at like 6-minute Ks, and it just means you don't carry that fatigue through. Now, I don't go to that extreme, and maybe if I did, I'd be even better. But it's a frustrating pace to run at because it is bloody slow. But there is a lot of value in doing it. You just need to be really disciplined. So yeah, I think there's a lot of value in it. I think a lot of people, they do just run generally a little bit too quick, carry too much fatigue through, can't hit the right numbers, and then end up not being as consistent as they could be. So it's something I definitely need to improve on. I've seen some good benefits from it, and I'll hopefully try to continue improving on it as well.
Yeah, I guess, I'm sure some people's 6-minute Ks is still quite fast, myself included, but I guess it's a percentage of like your race pace, isn't it? So it's like race pace plus at least a couple of minutes per K is an easy pace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to insult anyone out there. Sorry.
But Harry, can you not get me cancelled, please, on live stream 1? How did you get? I don't actually know the answer to this question. Harry, how did you get into triathlon, and at what age?
I think I was 16, so about 10 years ago, and I think it was probably just an excuse for my parents to get me out of the house. Really.
Yeah.
I had way too much energy when I was younger, and I think my dad just signed me up for the local triathlon, and to this day, probably the most painful experience of my life. Cramped up with legs as I in C2, fell over, had to stretch for a few minutes, and but yeah, absolutely loved it, and that's what got me hooked.
Sounds like one of Andy Horsfall-Turner's latest race reports, falling over. Do you know he fell over on that? What was the last Ironman he did? He was leading out the water and tripped over. And he gets a bonus if he's first out of the water, and he got back up and absolutely sprinted to the timing chip map.
It's so funny. I mean, some of the stories he's got are actually amazing.
Oh dear. What's your nutrition plan for Ironman Israel, and does it include a dry bagel?
Does it include dry bagels? Probably no dry bagels. Yeah, so breakfast I'll always have lots of toast and jam. Some precision fuel and hydration, and then on the bike I think I'll probably try to consume close to 100 grams of carbs an hour. Electrolyte wise, maybe sort of 750 to 800 milligrams of sodium an hour, and then anywhere from 750 to a litre of fluid an hour. So it's quite a bit. I need to think about the orientation of my bottles. Currently on the bike, I've got probably a 500 between the bars. I'll maybe have a 500 or a 750 on the down tube, and then a litre behind me. Maybe think about a bladder down the front. I don't really know. And then it's just up to kind of grabbing stuff at aid stations as and when you need it, really.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I think we're all in agreement you're very much at the beginning of your triathlon career, but what are your plans post being a professional triathlete? Have you thought that far ahead or not?
Lots of beers, sit by the sea, and have a good time, basically. Probably retire down in Devon, and become one of the locals. Just have a chilled life. I honestly, I don't really know what it's going to look like, but I'd love to continue to be involved in the sport, whether that looks like a coaching role or something like that. I mean, I don't know where the channel's going to go, so maybe that'll be something to explore. I really do enjoy like videography and stuff like that, so maybe that's an avenue to go down. Lots of different avenues, and I think I'm just going to work hard every single one of them and see what happens. You know, once I get fed up with training 30 hours a week, maybe I'll do something else.
Somebody's asked, what was your biggest learning point from Ironman Wales? I would like to add, Harry, you weren't very well that day. So maybe if I could suggest not racing when you're physically ill, but have you got any other learning points?
Don't race when you've got E. coli. That's not a good idea. Biggest learning experience. Ironman's a very long way, so that's probably quite a lesson to learn. I don't really know because it just was not a good day. So don't race when you're ill, because honestly there are long-term implications to that. I was nothing good for 8 months after that. So I'd say like race day isn't a lot of money on these races, and they mean a lot to them, which I respect so much, and you put a lot of time and effort into it. But also, if you're not feeling good on the day or the days before the race, you just got to think about your own health and well-being. And I think that's it's important lesson to learn.
And the video, Harry, think about the video.
And think about the video as well, because that's
exactly. What was your nutrition on the bike in Belgium? If you had time to eat or drink anything, because it looked pretty flat out.
So what did I have? I think I had 110 grams of carbs an hour.
That's a lot.
On the bike, I actually ended up on one of the cobbled sections. My rear bottle, or the bottle cage, actually came loose, and so I had to grab the bottle, and maybe I only had half of that bottle before I chucked it down my front, and then ended up forgetting about it really. So I don't feel that much for the rest of the day. On the run, it's always just a case of like, my stomach's always a little bit fragile, so I just get in what I can. Lots of Coke, lots of water, and some gels if I can manage it, really.
Good stuff. Who do you think is going to win Kona this year?
It's really tough to predict. I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's probably, the star list is just insane, isn't it? So, I don't really know.
I suppose you're friends with some of them, so you almost can't pick one, can you?
Probably a decent. She's a decent athlete. There's so many good names. Honestly, like I don't think you can put money on anyone, because it could be anyone's day. Like it's a ridiculous start list. It's so good.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how Taylor Knibb being in the race just changes the dynamic. If she rides like...
I've heard her bike power compared to anyone else is just absolutely insane. Like she is I know like a male equivalent would be someone like Magnus Ditlev, but even if Magnus Ditlev was the Nib, like she's that good.
Yeah. I think to get picked, so she's riding for Trek Segafredo, isn't she, for some races. To get selected for a World Tour team, like you've got to be absolutely. We know that she's world class, but absolutely top tier. So.
Yeah. There's a difference between like decent triathlete cyclists and very decent pro cyclists. Like it's it's a big spectrum, and there's a big difference there.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in?
Yes, you can jump in, Liz. Hang on.
I've got to try and
Yeah, go on. No, I can hold it. You can talk.
Oh.
This is my pet hate, by the way. People that buy these wireless microphones then hold them. Anyway, go on.
Somebody asked on the ride. Sorry, I didn't see who it was. It kind of flashed before my eyes, but it was something along the lines of Camworth just does cycling. So, well, I can't remember exactly what it said. So, Camworth cyclist. Would Harry ever consider just going to one sport?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Something along those lines. Sorry.
Yeah, good question. I mean, as a competitor, like I wouldn't be good enough in one of the individual sports. So, but I mean, for enjoyment or for when I retire, let's say, I probably wouldn't keep swimming up. That's tedious. So I'd probably pick running or cycling. Probably would steer more towards cycling because I think it's maybe a little bit more sociable. You can do more of it without getting injured. So yeah, if I could pick one, it probably would be the bike.
Yeah, fair enough. Any more, Liz? Or?
That's the only one I've seen.
Okay.
Sorry, I've not been paying full attention.
No problem at all. Ian Wibley asks, any advice for a heavier triathlete? Now, Harry, you said earlier you're a heavier triathlete. In the pro ranks, yes. I think probably I could speak from more experience of being a heavier triathlete. If you've got any advice for, you're heavier, you're trying to train and race, what sort of things? I guess you coach people of all varieties, don't you? So.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I say I'm a heavier triathlete, I don't mean to insult anyone who's like heavier than me. It's just based on or compared to other pro triathletes. There's guys I'm racing who are like 65 kilos and I'm 76 kilos. So it's a big difference. But yeah, if you're a heavier athlete, I think it just comes down to picking the courses that are going to suit you. You're probably better off picking courses that have less elevation, obviously, because you're just going to be slightly slightly worse off on the hillier courses. So just be sensible on the courses that you do. Make sure you get your zones kind of up to date for training purposes, and don't worry about being a heavier guy, a heavier girl. Like it's just about kind of getting around and enjoying it, and doing what you need to do. So I think a lot of people, they maybe stress too much about, and I hate this word, I hate this term so much, race weight. It really, really winds me up when people talk about race weight, because it's like, race weight should be any weight that you're healthy and you're able to perform and not get injured or ill or whatever. And so I don't think there should be a thing such as race weight. It's just healthy. It's just be healthy and enjoy it. And don't worry too much about getting lean or anything like that. It's just play to your strengths in the training and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think if I could add anything to that, I definitely limit my running, knowing that it's so much impact on all of your body weighs down. I definitely never really push the envelope running wise, just because the injury risk, and do more cycling than swimming. So what should the sport do, and I suppose you see this in races, to reduce the influence of moto and drafting in pro races?
Oh yeah, it's still a lot of it going on, really. So
are those two separate issues? So like moto effect on the race 1 and 2 illegal drafting?
Yeah, I mean, drafting's always going to be there. I think obviously there's that company, was it Race Ranger, that have come in, and the PTO have been using their technology, and I think it's a great idea. It just needs to be rolled out across the board. But even so, I think you're still going to get a degree of drafting. Like there's always, in every single walk of life, you're going to get people that cheat, that try and one up people, and I think it's just something you need to accept and obviously call it out, of course. But yeah, it's never going to be something you can completely get rid of. But I think the Race Ranger coming in is really good. And then moto pacing or when they're getting the live coverage, it's really difficult. Because they always say stuff like, when we're in Belgium, they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to film from the side. And it's like, well, I saw you weren't filming from the side, you were filming right at the front of the group, and they were like 20 meters back, and you're getting a huge draft from that. It's probably like 50 watts right there. So it just makes the racing unfair, and it means, and this comes back to why the swim is so important in pro racing, because even if you are the best cyclist out there, like even if you're someone like, we know, like Joe Skipper, hell of a rider, but he's never going to be able to bridge up to those groups, not because he's not good enough, but it's because they're getting such a draft from the motorbike that he's just got no chance.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important. You need to play the game, and that's what it is. Like, you have to get out with the swim. You have to then utilize the bikes that are in front of you, because ultimately we know there's going to be bikes, because they want to get coverage, they want to get TV footage, whatever it is. So it's just trying to get to the front and utilize that. And if you can be that person, then great. Like, it's not against the rules to sit behind a bike. I know it's something that people get annoyed with, but don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, fair enough. I see you doing a lot of swim drills, Harry, and Tom asks, have you got any go-to drills that you either find benefit you the most or that you enjoy doing the most?
So over the years, I'd say I only really have 2 solid fundamental drills. I do other drills just to keep a bit of variety, but scull and doggy paddle are literally, I know they're super basic. Everyone seems to know them, which is obviously because they're good drills, but really has helped me so much with the front end and my catch phase, because ultimately it doesn't matter how good the rest of your stroke is. If your catch is a little bit crap, or if you're not getting purchased on the water, it really doesn't matter how good the rest of it is. Like, you need to get that initial phase squared away and sorted, and those are 2 drills that really have helped me push my swimming to a point where I'm quite confident that I should be near the front of the race.
Awesome. We're really rattling through these, Harry. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
What are your thoughts on the split world champs for the full distance, and do you fancy going to Nice?
I'll be honest, I'm not a massive fan of the split world champs. I think I don't know. Yeah, I was watching the men race. I was like, it just seems like something's like kind of missing. And I'm sure I'm sure I'll feel the same when I watch the women race in Kona. I think it just feels a little bit strange. I think it's great that the world champs is changing locations. So to introduce Nice is really good. I just feel like perhaps everyone should have been in Nice, not split the women and the men. And I know everyone's like, yeah, they love Kona. And it's kind of like a bucket list event for so many people, which is great. But I personally think that the world champs, similar to other sports, should change around every single year. It should be in different locations, purely because, well, there's loads of reasons. Number one, the financial implication of going to Kona is just ridiculous. So a lot of people who actually rightfully qualify can't go. So it just rolls down so far that it's just people who can afford it, really. And then also, once you have the recipe dialed, like if you're a good athlete in the heat and the humidity, you know you're going to perform well at Kona. And so it caters to a certain type of athlete. But if you're an athlete who isn't good at that stuff, you know you're never going to perform well at the World Champs. Whereas I think it should go to different locations, different types of climates, different conditions. And if you can perform well across the board, that means you're rightfully the world champ. But I think Kona just caters towards a specific type of athlete, which is great. But I think, yeah, they need to have a bit of variety. I think Nice looks awesome. I don't think it would be a course that suits me because of the climbing and the heat. But it would be nice to see the world champs go around the world and be an actual world champs. And, I occasionally come back to Kona, but it'd be nice to see it have a little bit of variety and cater towards other people's strengths rather than just a specific type of person.
Yeah, okay. Do you ever work on your running technique?
I don't, and it's probably something I should do. Actually, well, you know what? We do a lot of running. So that will help, and we do a lot of stability drills in the gym, which kind of works on you. That probably is, in a sense, working on running technique. But when I go for like normal runs or anything like that, I won't really focus too much on it. I'll do a little bit of drill work, but to be honest with you, I get a little bit bored, so I just go straight into the session.
Yeah. Next question from Lee Tunnicliffe. Fun fact about Lee. Lee used to be on the same bike racing team as Joe Skipper, and he's got some brilliant stories about them both missing the start of races and stuff. Anyway, Lee asks...
Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah. Lee asks, before you were a pro, which pros were inspirational to you?
That is a good question. It was actually guys like someone like Elliot Smales. He was always the kind of the UK athlete who was like just ripping it up. Tom Davis as well, really solid UK athlete. The UK scene was pretty strong actually, and then other athletes like kind of David McNamee, who's still obviously ripping it up.
Yeah.
Someone like James Connemara as well. Those kinds of names, and then obviously, the big ones like Jan Frodeno, Daniela Reef. Yeah, lots of names, but I aspired to be like the athletes that were winning races that I was racing.
Yeah.
So Elliot Smales was a big one actually, and he's not racing anymore. Really nice lad, it was just cool to see how good he was, and then over the years, I just got closer and closer, which was nice to see.
Yeah. Do you remember 2020 when the PTO sponsored Outlaw X, and there was like, who was there? Ruth Assel, Kat Matthews, pretty sure Lucy Charles was there. Like, it was like stacked, and now you look back at it, like they've all gone on to great things, and it was just at my local middle distance event. Awesome.
It's awesome to see, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think Tim Don did that one actually.
Tim Don, yeah.
What is the most embarrassing kit failure you've had during a race? And you don't need to show us if it was a clothing malfunction.
Kit fail?
Kit failure. What's the most embarrassing kit failure? Like either you've forgotten something or done something wrong or something's broke or...
That is a good question. I mean, I don't know if this is... Yeah. I mean, I always struggle to get my wetsuit off, so that's probably a kit fail. What else? I did... One of my first triathlons that I did, actually, no, I don't think it was one of my first, but I'll say it was because it makes it sound a little bit better for me. I ran out of T2 with my helmet on, so that was a rookie mistake. I think that was like Western Supermare Sprint Triathlon.
World champ.
So don't run out of T2 with your helmet on.
Yeah. If money was no object and you were still a triathlete, where would you want to live? I mean, you're in that situation now, right?
Probably somewhere like mainland Europe, I guess. I know Girona's such a it's just a classic place to say, isn't it? Every triathlete kind of seems to go there or live there. So I've heard it's great, but probably want to be a little bit different, go somewhere else. Maybe, the places that Eric and Paula live just seem insane. So over in Canada, North America seems pretty cool. I don't know. That's a good question. Somewhere a little bit warmer than the UK, essentially.
Do you stay completely teetotal during the season or not?
No, absolutely not.
So I don't know this one.
Yeah, you know the answer to that. I think if you wanna do that, great. I respect it, but also I'm one of those people that likes to have a decent balance, and I'm not going to go out clubbing. I'm not going to go clubbing because I hate it. It's horrible. But
and you can't dance.
I'm not 17 anymore. A couple of beers with your mates at the pub or on the beach. I'm very keen on that. I think everything in moderation, and as long as you can continue to get the training done, regardless if you've got a hangover, then that's always good.
Who is your dream sponsor?
Oh, this is a good one.
I've got one. I've got one. If you want to have a think.
You've got one.
Yeah. If you want to have a think before you come back to it.
Yeah. Go for it.
I think the dream sponsor is Red Bull because they sponsor the best athletes in the world who win all the big races, and they also don't get people to do sales pitches. They just want to have their logo on you, and that's it. And I think that's really classy. And when you see somebody with the Red Bull logo on, you're like one of the best.
Yeah, that is true. You see like a Red Bull helmet, and you're like, okay, this person's a big dog. Like they're going to be good.
But you can't say Red Bull now.
I've heard they don't pay their athletes like a crazy amount, but they look after them very well. Like they'll pay for a lot of their content, media, marketing stuff, and then also any kind of medical treatment they need. Like they pay for like the best stuff. So they're definitely a decent sponsor to have for sure. I'd probably just go Nutella, to be honest. The amount of Nutella I eat,
biggest cost.
Oh, that would save me. That would save me a lot of money.
Do you ever enter any small races? Perhaps you don't tell people about, or just like tune-up races or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I've done in the past quite a few, like, I guess you can call them small races, like time trials at Castle Combe with DB Max, really good company. So probably next year I'll do like, I think they do like they call it the Chile Duathlon or early season duathlon. Probably do that, just a bit of a tune up, like you said, some time trialing. It's always good to do events like that because you don't want to mess up on the races that actually count. Not that these smaller races don't count, but it is it's just good to get the ball rolling. So I definitely will look to do some smaller races as well.
Do you feel any pressure? This is from me. Do you feel any pressure at those smaller races? Like if you turn up, right, I've got to win. Like if I turn up and TriathlonDan beats me, like I'm never going to live it down. Do you feel that responsibility being a pro?
Yeah, literally every time. Like if Dan beats me, then I may as well just bloody quit and go live somewhere else.
Right, maybe that's another example.
But yeah. Like, do well. I'm just a little bit shit, so that's maybe the reason why people are being.
Yeah, because there's some very good age groupers, aren't there? If somebody turns up tapered and trained specifically for an event, and you're deep in a training block, like it's risky, isn't it?
Actually, you'll love this. So I did. I can't remember when it was, but it was a sprint triathlon down in Devon. Oh, where was it? Taunton or something, and. So I did the race, and I was like, I know I've won it. Yeah. So it's pretty chill, like a bit of a legend. And then I look at the results, and I was like, Donald Brooks beat me. I was like, oh, seriously, come on, man! Like, you beat everyone, and you're beating me now. What's going on?
Brilliant. Well, he's won everything this year, hasn't he? Shout out Donald Brooks.
Oh, he's an absolute. I don't know how he does it. Absolute hero.
I know how he does it because when I roll over in bed in the morning and look on Strava. He's done like 4K in the sea and I'm still in bed.
It's like the guy just doesn't sleep. He's just absolutely on it the whole time.
Yeah, fair play. What's your go-to celebration, meal and drink?
My favourite drink would be the Doom Bar. That is an amber ale from Sharp's Brewery and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I would have one of those or maybe more than one. And then meal, I just love like a decent burger, a decent like gourmet burger. That would make me a happy man.
Good stuff. This last couple of ones. Pardon?
I've got.
You got one? Come on, yeah.
What's been your best race to date? So don't necessarily have to have won or anything like that. Just what's been your best race, your most memorable race?
Great question.
Ooh, that is a very good question. I'm trying to think now of most memorable race. I don't want to say now 70.3 Belgium because you're just going to be like, oh, it's because you won. So, I don't really know.
What about?
I think they're all.
I've got one. It's probably up there. Bowood Outlaw a couple of years ago. I was up the road after a great swim, and it took you ages to reel me in, and you came past me on the bike. That's got to be up there, surely.
Yeah, that was pretty good fun actually. I did really enjoy that, and actually the bits of content that we got before were quite funny. Yeah. So, that was a good one to do, and actually really nice to be able to roll out of bed and just go like 30 seconds down the road and have the race venue there. So, that was pretty epic. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to assume that most people have seen your YouTube channel, Harry, but if they haven't, it's Harry Palmer. Please do check it out. What are we going to see on your channel in the next few weeks and months and over winter? What are we looking out for?
So, next week, no, the following week, I'm going out to Club de Santa for a week. So I'm going to take James with me, and we're going to be doing some filming of the facilities out there and the training that I'm doing with the lead up to Israel. So really, from now until early November, it's all about the lead up to Israel. Going to be talking about not only the training that I'm doing, but all of the equipment that I'm going to use, anything that I'm going to be changing. If anyone wants anything specific, then I can cover that as well. But yeah, it's just going to be really exciting and get some bits of content out there. And then after that, I'll always have a little bit of downtime. It's just nice to give yourself that time away, do things you don't normally get to do because of the training commitments and everything. Probably have a little bit of time away from the channel as well, just to kind of refresh the creative juices. I think that's always good as well. You don't want your content to go like kind of stale. And then really it's just going to be gearing up again for the next year. And like I said, I'll be going out to Calpe for like 2 and a bit weeks. So that'll be a really good opportunity to get some really good content, show you guys things that we haven't really done before. And also just be with a good group of people. So yeah, hopefully that's super exciting. And really the overarching goal for this year has been to try and, number one, get 20,000 subscribers, which hopefully happens, but we'll see. And number two, get in the top 100 of the PTO, which currently ranked 108. So with a good result at Israel, I'm sure that'll happen. So it's kind of, everything invested into the last race of the season, really.
Would you get sacked from the Low Rank Pro podcast series there if you go too high?
That is true, actually. I don't really know what the criteria is for that.
Brilliant. I know the answer to this because you tested them. Calf sleeves, are they worth the cash? Don't break my heart because I've spent a lot of money on calf sleeves.
Yeah, I'm going to triathlete. It depends. It really did. But I did test them, the Velodrome. I tested the Hoob ones, which I know are pretty expensive, like 150 quid or something. Everyone's going to be different, so I would assume for some people they're going to be quick, for some people they're not going to be as quick. For me, they were 3 watts slower. So everyone's got such a different physique. I'm sure for some people they're like 5 to 7 watts quicker maybe, but for me they were slower. So if you're unsure, I would maybe say don't use them, but also if you want to look like Christian Blumenfeld, then maybe do.
Fair enough. Lee's asking, would you eat Nutella on pasta? There's a story behind that question.
I'd eat Nutella on everything, yeah.
I'll try and summarise the story. Lee and Joe Skipper had a massive bowl of Nutella and pasta because they couldn't find enough food in the place they were staying the night before a bike race, so that's what they ate.
I mean, carbs is carbs at the end of the day, so I respect that.
Yeah. Right, to finish us off then, Harry, I know your time is valuable, you've got a lot on. What's the best atmosphere that you've seen in a triathlon, either spectator or competitor?
100%, without a shadow of a doubt, has to be Ironman Wales. The atmosphere there is, it's I experienced anything quite like that. It is just absolutely the amount of people that get behind it. And that's why people love the race, right? And obviously, wow, like absolutely incredible. You've got the streets lined with people, everyone gets behind it, and it's just makes all the hard work worth it when you go to race day. I've heard also that Cork is equally as good. So I might have to experience that next year and head over there. But for me personally, I'd never have experienced anything quite like Ironman Wales. It was amazing.
Awesome. Well, Harry, thank you very much for coming out tonight and talking to us all evening. Thank you to everybody who's dialed into this live stream or joined us on the Zwift ride. Honestly, it's been awesome. You hopefully will be glad to know that next week we've got Andrew Horsford-Turner coming on. I'll do a little bit of work on the audio. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine for next week. Hit subscribe on Harry Palmer's channel if you haven't already. And Harry, thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Really appreciate this. I've had a good evening.
Cheers. All right. See you all later. Hang on.